Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Welcome into Wildcast Studios on Rogers TV for a Tuesday playoff episode of the Wildcast podcast, your platinum award-winning and longest-running QMJHL podcast. We are your unofficial voice of the reigning 2025 Joe Quattrone Trophy champion Moncton Wildcats, and we are presented as always by Discount Flooring Center, a division of Fabulous Flooring, home to the largest variety of high-end current and discontinued lines of hardwood, ceramic vinyl, and luxury model tiles, and even blinds for immediate purchase. Find them at 320 Collishaw Street in Moncton, or give them a call at 506-859-9909. As always, Fanishers, I am your host, Frosted Tip, Adam Lund, and I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. YQM, Mr. Starbucks, Jonas Brothers superfan, Elliot Friedman's favorite, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. The weekend that was, sir. Success for the Blue Jays, success for the Wildcats. Could you ask for a better weekend?
I don't think so. No, we did pretty good. That was a good start to the
Sports year,
to the sports calendar.
Yeah.
If you want to say that the calendar starts at the end of March, excuse me.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, look, good start. Good start at the rink Friday night. Good start at the Rogers Center Friday night, and we're rolling. I mean, Jays are still 3-0. Still waiting for the Yankees to lose a game, so Yankees lose. So, but
they got a favorable schedule coming up too. Like the Jays to start the year, the Athletics, the White Sox, and I think the Rockies.
Yeah,
like they had a potential. I looked at that, I was like,
yeah, they got to take
potential to go 9-0 to start the season.
You got to take advantage.
Yeah,
I mean,
means nothing down the stretch. Like it's 150 some games.
Which means
left,
your schedule is going to be tougher.
Yeah, down the back end,
right? So, no, just Tuesday episode's going to be weird, but that's just the time of the year that we're in, and we have to move things around to make this show work. So here we are.
Yep, nothing worse than coming out on Wednesday and they've already played 3 games. Yeah. But that's why the fan listeners have clicked the bell, and they know when this is coming out already
to the YouTube,
and they got nothing but time on the bus trip to St. John tonight to listen to this show. And if you're not listening on the bus, I think they still have some bus seats left.
There was 7, I believe, as of Monday afternoon.
Okay.
So they're selling fast.
If you're listening to this early, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. You're like, bus trip? What is this? Go to the Facebook page, call Tanya, call Nicole, get your seat. I think it's $55. It gets you a ticket there, back. It's honestly, you can't beat it with gas prices nowadays. But we had a nice little weekend of fevers and spending money. Went to Clement, bought a car seat.
Oh, a new one?
A new one.
Nice.
A sliding one that turns back and forth. It's nice. It's nice. It's the Cadillac. It's not a Cadillac of car seats, but it's priced like a Cadillac of car seats. And thankfully, it was on sale.
There you go.
So that makes a big difference. We got a big jam-packed show to get to. So don't forget, as always, you can follow us on the social medias, Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok, Wildcast Podcast as well here on the YouTube. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button. It lets us know you like what we're doing. Click the bell. So just like on a Tuesday, you don't miss an episode, as well as the podcast post games that come out. And eventually we will get to some road Instacasts where I will hear your voice. You will have your chance on YouTube to be on the show if you want to participate in that. No quick question.
Nope.
We have like I said, we got a jam-packed show.
Too much to do.
Too much to get to on our rare Tuesday night. So let's get into the news and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
And news and notes from around the queue is presented by Speedy Auto Service in Moncton on Mountain Road. Whether it's routine maintenance, repairs, the team at Speedy keeps you safe and back on the road fast. As spring tire season at some point approaches here, now is the perfect time to pre-book your tire swap and get your vehicle ready for the summer. Locally owned, trusted by Moncton drivers.
Yeah, can confirm. Got to change that oil filter too. The cabin air filter, very important.
Proud to deliver honest service every time. Visit Speedy Moncton at 905 Mountain Road or call them at 857-2282, where great people provide great service. lots of news to get to. I think the biggest one, Ryabkin was suspended for a game. There was Emil Ricard was suspended for kicking. We're back to your favorite time of the year, $500 for not getting off the ice to warm up.
Hey, look, get off the ice, kids. If you're not off the ice, it's $500 fine. Any pucks left on the ice, any players left on the ice with 1 second on the clock, $500 fine.
4 teams.
Yeah.
Victoriaville and Blainville and Moncton and St. John.
Yeah. And then the old request for discipline rejected. That's another one of my favorites.
That's another good one.
Another playoff. A playoff only fine that you see. And those are always fun. And there was Ryabkin's abuse of officials.
Yeah.
There's I think a suspension that we're still waiting on, oddly enough.
Yeah.
There was an incident in the involving Dalston Sharkey in the game 2 on the Rock. He had a blindside hit
from behind too, right?
Yeah. So as we speak on Monday evening, there's been no suspension. So we'll see if that comes down and affects the regiment for their game 3 in Sydney.
If you were not on this podcast right now and you were a fan of the Charlottetown Islanders or the Drummondville Voltigeurs, which fan base would be a touch more nervous right now? Drummondville down 0-2 to Victoriaville, which for me is the story of the playoffs right now. They went into Drummondville,
Valdor,
went in and won both games. Or Charlottetown, where Leak missed a game, Ryabkin suspended, Ross Campbell is taking 10-minute misconducts for being annoyed. Like I don't know what happened. I didn't watch that one, but what are you more nervous about as the series shifts to the other barns?
Yeah, I think both fan bases should be concerned a little bit. Drummondville, for obvious reasons. I mean, they were upset by Halifax last year, right? So if they happen to get upset again by Valdor, what's that look like for Favreau, right? Like that's
they have their number one goalie too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like last year, you can get away with it. You lost Dawson, who knows? But this year, they've had their number one.
Yeah. So in Charlottetown's case, Ross Campbell, don't know if he's playing 100%. He was hurt towards the end of the regular season. Now I've got Ryabkin suspended for game 3. Leak, I've heard is hurt as well.
Yeah.
And he's questionable for game 3. That's your entire top line that could potentially be missing and or not at 100%. So that's I think if you're Quebec, you got to jump all over that. And the Remparts have the next 3 here, so they could they have the opportunity to take control of that series and make me look like an absolute genius.
You and Stéphane Leroux.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, both picked Quebec to come out of that series.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, Leak didn't play game 2, and the boards and the Facebook are not the official anything. But I saw something on the board that said they saw Leak walking around in a boot on crutches. His playoffs were over. I know Shakutami just had Schaefer go out 4 to 6 weeks, so that's a blow to them. Again, they have the depth to overcome that. I think on the positive side, LeBay in Sherbrooke.
Oh yeah, my guy.
I was talking to Tozer, who we'll have on here in a little bit, up in the booth, and talking about that, and he said, Shawinigan doesn't look as good. Like, Sherbrooke looks good, and I'm like, yeah. They got us first place. I can't not pick them in that series. Like it's
again making me look like a genius.
Me too. I picked them too. Yeah. But it's just Shawinigan had the playoff success against Sherbrooke, and Sherbrooke, like I said, when we were talking to Drew Bear, they're peaking at the right time, and Shawinigan is having some trouble. I think him stopping 57 of 59 shots. Like, there's a few series that are going the way you would think. Randa, Blainville, Chicoutimi. We'll talk about our series, so we'll leave that one. But Newfoundland and Cape Breton, I think Cape Breton's in the same kind of boat as Quebec. I think they went in, they got the split. They're coming home to their barn. We don't know what's going to happen with Sharkey, but they put a little bit of doubt. And like Drew Bear said, if the non-officials or the unofficials as they call, like that's a fantastic venue when they were going to the third round. Like that barn can get rocking. And if they get a game 3, now you have the chance to put a team on the ropes. I mean, Cape Breton and Quebec are kind of in a very similar spot with those 2-3-2s.
Yeah, like Druber messaged me today. He was like, "Is it safe to say we have to win 2 out of 3 at home?" I said, "Just win all 3, right? Win all 3. Don't
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, don't go back to Newfoundland, right? Use home ice advantage to your advantage.
Yeah.
No, so far, I mean, things are just awesome series. I mean, Sherbrooke plays playoff hockey. Like that, their style of play is playoff hockey. Like they're not going to blow you out on the scoreboard. They don't have a bona fide superstar on their team. They don't have game breakers. They just play to their identity. They bought in, and they're getting superior goaltending, and that's what you need in in the playoffs. Is you don't necessarily need to win 7-6. If you can win those 2-1 games, you're going to have just as much success, and that's what's happening, and that's why I picked them. They're just they're built. They're a team that's built for the playoffs.
Yeah. They. I mean, when you talk about looking at the first round, and then you figure out, well, if this team upsets and this team upsets, and right now you're looking at teams that are up 2-0 that you don't want to necessarily play, even though they're the underdog and got through, and that's where we're at. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want really either one of them because they're on a heater, and that's the worst and best part of a playoffs is being able to get things going at the right time. Yeah,
and I don't want to look too far ahead, but I mean, if you're Val-d'Or, you've got to be super pumped to be going home up 2-0, and same thing for Sherbrooke here. So just looking forward to to see how these series go the rest of the way, and if there's an upset and we happen to play again, don't look too far ahead. We know we still got 2 more games to win against St. John here, but if we happen to get a lower seed, that's good, but you can't look past them. Like it's you still got to approach this tonight against St. John the same way you would approach a game 1 against a Val-d'Or or a game 1 against a Sherbrooke. Just don't look where they finish in the standings. Just go out, play your game, and get the job done.
100%. It's a good time, and it's that way across the CHL. And obviously, we're not going to talk WHL and CHL for a while, or WHL and OHL. But if you're listening and you want to talk those series, I am watching the WHL and a little bit of the OHL because, well, I'm a night owl and that's what I do. But it's been fantastic playoffs throughout. It's exciting to this time of year, like you said with Marty. Like this is the best time of the year. This is what you wait for, and all these series that are 2-0, okay, not all of them, most of them can flip like that, and all of a sudden they're tied, and it's a best of 3, and you may or may not have home ice. I believe you have a Boucher team of the week.
I do. Before we get to that, I just want to address Bill Riley.
Oh yes,
Bill Riley sadly passed away. He was the first ever Wildcats head coach. He was, I believe, the 3rd Black player to play in the NHL. With the Washington Capitals in the 70s. Won a Calder Cup in 1982. So he was, he was a trailblazer. He's, I believe, his jersey's up at the
banners,
the
banners up there,
the Avenir. So, obviously a very familiar name in the Maritimes, and I think if it wasn't for for Mr. Riley, he kind of got it started in Moncton with, the community aspect of hockey, getting the team out there for, autograph signings and, player appearances and special events and all that other stuff. So he's got a lot, I think the organization owes a lot to him for, for his time in, with the Wildcats. So yeah, it was, when we saw that, it was sad, obviously. And, he's well respected in the hockey community, and sad to see him go.
It's now time for the one and only Boucher's Team of the Week.
For my script here. Here we go. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Johnny. Boucher Team of the Week. A little different this week, but we're still going to call it the Boucher Team of the Week. Sponsored by the Hub City Driving School, where excellence meets experience on the road to safe, confident driving. Whether you're a new driver getting behind the wheel for the first time or looking to refine your skills, the Hub City Driving School is committed to guiding you every step of the way. Because, of course, driving is a privilege and you can learn more at the hubcitydrivingschool.com. I'm starting to memorize it because I've said it so often now. It's pretty good. As I mentioned, we're going to change things up a little bit just because it's the playoffs and it's going to be the
Boucher Team of the Week if you don't like it.
And in the playoffs, it's the Boucher 3 stars of the week. I think we're going to start with Val-d'Or. We're going to go with Louis Charles Plourde, who's currently leading the playoffs in scoring with 6 points in 2 games to help Val-d'Or come out with those 2 surprising wins. I think we could say surprising over Drummondville going home. On the back end, I'm going to go with Xavier Villeneuve, return from the lineup in time for the playoffs. Finished up the 2 games, 2 Armada wins with 2 goals, 1 assist, and a +4. And the aforementioned Kian Lebay couldn't first star of the week, in my opinion. Yeah, a name that you've been hearing quite frequently on this show.
Yeah,
for
big fans
for good reason. Yeah. Wins both games on the road in Sherbrooke, so they're going home with 2-0 series lead. So for the first time, that was the Boucher 3 stars of the week, brought to you by the Hub City Driving School.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done. Do you want to throw it to the next guest, or?
We're going to throw it to the next guest because I am such a pro at this. We are fortunate to have back-to-back appearances on the Wildcast
first time,
podcast. I think it's first time back-to-back guest. It's, of course, another edition of Where in the World is Jamie Tozer coming up from Station Nation.
View from the other bench.
And View from the Other Bench is presented by Waterworks Pools and Spas, providing Atlantic Canadians with custom in-ground pools, spas, and service and supply since 1986. If you're looking for a trained technician or getting your pool water from green to clear, give them a call at 506-859-1980 or visit them at 194 Killam Drive. All right. Well, like you said, back-to-back guests as the series shifts to St. John for games 3 and 4. We figured, why not bring in Mr. Tozer again, good friend of the show, to find out where he is and get his thoughts on game 1 and 2 as a whole. Jamie, how are you?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Doing fantastic.
Yep.
Yes. I guess, do you want to start in the St. John series, or do you want to start with your thoughts on the Q playoffs as a whole?
Oh, what a question. Let's start with the St. John series, I guess.
Okay. I guess, obviously just your thoughts on game 1 and 2. I think for me, I'm getting visions of last year where they were very pushed to the limit almost, especially in game 2. But I guess just your thoughts from a St. John perspective.
Yeah, I think if you're St. John, you have to be pretty happy with those first 2 games, to be honest. Even though they're both losses, like I mentioned on the show last time, I think you're looking for small wins here and there, knowing that you're a long shot to not only win the series but to win some games in this series. So overall, I think that there are definitely some positives for St. John from those first 2 games. Without the first game reminded me a lot of the last regular season St. John game where they went up 3-0 in the first period, and then the wheels just completely fell off in the second. I thought it was pretty similar to that, even though the score wasn't quite as lopsided. Thought it was a pretty good first period by St. John, and Raphael Corchain I thought was pretty good at times in that game, but the wheels started to slowly fall off in that second period, and ultimately allowed 50 shots. But thought Corshane was pretty good, other than a couple rebound goals. I think he'd like to have back. I think he was pretty solid. But all things considered, I thought game one wasn't that bad of a performance, even though the Sea Dogs got heavily outshot. It wasn't as bad as it probably could have been. And then in game two, I think game two was, if the Sea Dogs have any shot of winning a game in this series, I think that's kind of exactly how they have to play, the way they did in game two. I thought they did a pretty solid job defensively, which is something that this team has really struggled with throughout the year. They had very few scoring chances in that game. I think they only had 8 or 9 dangerous shots in that game. So for them to grab a 2-0 lead, they're very fortunate. But credit to them for making the most of their opportunities. What I really liked about when they went up 2-0 is that you could really see the energy and the confidence that this team had when they went up 2-0. You could see it just the way they were changing lines, and you could see the communication on the bench, and the way they were playing, really going after pucks, really putting the pressure on Moncton. That's the style of play that we just haven't seen a lot of from St. John this season. That's the style of play that I think a lot of us really hope that we would see, just knowing that this isn't the most skilled team. It's not the most defensively gifted team, but if this team can play hard and, play with a lot of energy, they've got a shot in a lot of games. And that's the style of play that we just have not seen St. John do a lot of consistently this season. So really good to see that throughout that game. And obviously a lot easier probably to crank it up that way in the playoffs, especially when you're up 2-0 on the road in game 2 of a playoff series. But encouraging to see this group play that way. Unfortunately, it lasted for 59 minutes and 10 seconds. Crazy ending. Probably one of the craziest endings I've ever seen to a hockey game. Probably one of the greatest collapses in Sea Dogs history. And it was funny. I don't know what you guys thought, but like when St. John went up 2-0, it still didn't feel like it was over. Like I was still waiting for the inevitable collapse. But when they kind of got to like 3 minutes left and they pulled game on, just started to think, they might actually be able to pull this off. And then when it got to the final minute, it was really looking good. Like St. John might actually be able to do this. Yeah. But boy, even when they allowed that first goal, you still felt, no, there's no way they're going to allow 2 goals here in the last minute. And what a crazy sequence, and shows how good the Wildcats are. There's so many cliches. It's just when you're a team like that, when you're the champs, when you're that loaded, like it just shows like you gotta punch them out, right? Like you can't just cruise the final minute, and that's a tough lesson for St. John to learn.
Yeah, I have to agree with you with Corshane's appearance and performance in game one. You can tell he's that goalie of the future that the Sea Dogs need. For him to step in and play the final 4 games of the regular. I guess McPherson got one of the games, but for him to step in and play that game one and face 50 shots. You can't. You just have to have to tip your cap to him and. For what he was able to do. And, with Radkoff was, I think we almost turned it was almost a verb, we almost got Radkoffed. Yeah. It was, we did
for
get
58
we got
Radkoff,
right? For 58 minutes.
Actually, I remember, I think I said to Chris Corey up in the booth, I was like, Jeremy said this, I think to you, Tozer, in one of the games that I wasn't able to go to, like, Radkoff's either making 10 bell saves or the Wildcats are scoring on him. Yep. There's no in between. And you say you thought at about 3 minutes when Desi hit that one timer where he's standing right in front of the net and it just went off Radkoff's head.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, this might just not be our night. Like we might just get goalie. Like that's just what happens is you're not really in position, but it's a beautiful tip, a beautiful pass, and it hits you in the head. Yeah. Like it's just
it was almost that, one of those nights, and I think it speaks for, I guess, Moncton's depth, I guess, if you want to put it that way, just to be able to score 2 goals in the final minute. And I'm looking at that tying goal, and I'm still wondering what Angelo Fullerton's doing.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a tough one.
Like he essentially turned it into a 6-on-4.
Yep.
By
Tough.
going down to block a shot. I don't know if he thought Dinwiddie was a defenseman and that he was going to shoot from the point. But that's probably not something you'll see him do again in this series. Like, I don't. If Fullerton doesn't turn that play into a 6-on-4, I think we're talking about a 1-1 series here, right?
Yep.
It's that's you can put everything aside, but that's I with respect to him, that was maybe a brain fart on his part. Like it's but you know what? I'm just going through like some of these comments I'm seeing from St. John fans, and I don't know if you want to kind of chime in and agree or disagree, but people are saying like they don't know how St. John's going to mentally recover from a game like that. Like where do you see the mindset of this team right now?
I think it could go one of two ways. I think you either look at that game and you look at it like, look how close we were to actually doing this. And if we replicate that again, we might be able to like actually pull this off. Or you could look at that and say like, look at how close we are and it wasn't good enough. Like there's nothing we can do to overcome this. So I think it could go one of two ways. I'm curious to see how they perform, just because again, this has been the story of St. John's season, right? Like where you just can't get that consistency. And I think if St. John comes out in game 3 and is able to play, identically like they did in this game and really, really shut down the Wildcats for as long as they can, I think that's a really good sign, and not something we've seen a lot of this season. I think it probably speaks a lot to Brian Casey and the coaching staff if they're able to do that, and super encouraging if we're able to see that. So it'll be really fascinating. I mean, the wild card in this is that I have the numbers right here. Like St. John has been like weirdly good at Avenir Center over the past 5 years. So St. John against Moncton over the past 5 years, they're 13, 27, 1-2. I don't think anyone's really surprised by that record. Mm-hmm. In Moncton, St. John is 10, 10, 1-1. In St. John against the Wildcats, they're 3, 17, 0-1. So Moncton has really dominated them at TD Station over the past few years. So I think that's not a helpful stat for St. John, and they've really struggled at home again this season. So we'll see if we can maybe turn around. But I think the other thing too is like what's Moncton's mental state. I think I would be pretty shocked if the Wildcats come out like they did in game 2. Like I think the Wildcats are probably looking at game 2 and saying like we can't hit the snooze button and win this series. So I would expect that probably the bigger challenge for St. John is going to be dealing with whatever the Wildcats decide to do.
I think that's the biggest key, is the cliche of weathering the storm and stuff like that. I think this is, we were talking about it in the booth, this is going to go one of two ways in game 3. It's either going to be a kind of a close one like game 2, or you're going to see a 6-0 win because the Wildcats are like, no, we just got to put this away. Like you let an underdog hang around long enough and look what almost happened. Yeah. And it's a completely different series if they get that empty netter or they hold on for a 2-1 victory or whatever. It's something that when I look at the first 2 games, what St. John's been able to do, and I don't know if they can continue to do it, and there's no stat for it, but they have to be in triple digits in blocks. Oh, like they have blocked almost everything. And I think, I think that's what Fullerton was doing. I think they were probably yelling on the bench like 10 seconds, 8 seconds, like letting him know. And he was like, they're just going to throw something at the net. Let me get in front of it. Mm-hmm. And Desi was smart enough to hold on just that little extra second to get it there. And it's just, back-to-back games where they didn't come out with the best start. But once they got one, there was a belief in there that they were going to continue to roll. And I wonder how St. John continues to try and block shots and block shots and block shots. Is that something that Casey's kind of instilled in this team in the past month? Or is that, look, if we're going to go against this team, like we had 50 shots a game and they blocked 40 per? Like it's just, it's unbelievable how many pucks they were at the net. Is this a Casey thing, or is this just we have to block shots against Moncton even though we still had 50?
Yeah, it might be a Casey thing, but I think it's more of just this is playoff hockey, and like you got to block shots if we have any chance at all in this series. And I mean, like that Fullerton play, like it looks bad on the video, But like that's a play like throughout the season, like you're begging players on the Sea Dogs to get down and block a shot in that situation.
Yeah.
Like it, like that's a play that in a regular season game, like with the Sea Dogs luck this year, that's a play where a clean shot just somehow gets in and the game's tied that way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think again, like it's really encouraging to see the Sea Dogs like really like they're all in here on this series, and like they're not really mailing it in here. And I know like the shot totals don't look great, but they're doing pretty much the best they possibly can under the circumstances. So you have to be encouraged by that. And I mean, some of the credit has to go to Brian Casey, because he's obviously getting through to this team to at least buy into a system that is going to give them at least somewhat of a chance. Yeah,
that the St. John's penalty kill meeting must have been pretty good on on Saturday morning to go from Moncton scoring 2 for 5 on Friday night, and then suddenly Saturday they're 0 for 3.
And that's an interesting stat line too, because St. John's penalty kill has weirdly been very good all year. I think they were sitting 3rd, 4th in the league almost the entire season until the coaching change, and oddly enough, it just completely fell off after the coaching change. I think they finished 10th in the league. I think there's probably, since the coaching change, I think there's maybe been 1 or 2 games where they've not allowed a power play goal. So which has been very strange. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely a good sign to see that the penalty kill was able to keep the Wildcats off the board in game 2.
So last week we had John and I talked about the impact of Max Cote, and unfortunately he went out in game 1 halfway through. I guess just how much do they miss a guy like that? I mean, you think about what he did for us. I think he had the game sealing play in game 6. It was him or Collard in the final that stopped that icing or whatever and flipped it down the ice.
Oh yeah.
I guess just how much do they miss him, and what is the key tonight? Like game 3, what is the Jamie Tozer keys to getting at least 1 in this series and kind of putting Moncton maybe on edge a little bit?
Yeah, it's interesting without Cote, because Cote is obviously a guy you'd think would really be a key factor in the playoffs, but you almost wonder if him being out of the lineup, it kind of made a lot of the guys say, I have to step up with a guy like Cote out. So, maybe there was a bit of a mental boost for a lot of players, knowing that Cote was out and knowing that they were going to have to step up their game a little bit physically. So could certainly look at it that way, but obviously having him in the lineup's more beneficial than him not being in the lineup. Key to game 3, though, I mean, I think they've got to find a way to replicate what they did in game 2. But I think they're going to have to be able to adjust that a little bit, because I don't think the Wildcats are going to come out and play the same way they did in game 2. So I think they need to be ready to really weather a lot of pressure, especially in the first half of the game. Because again, like I'd be pretty shocked now. It's the pretty average starts for the Wildcats in both games. I'd be pretty shocked if they come out with a 3rd straight game looking like that. So I think they're going to be facing a storm early, and then we'll see if what Radkov can do. Ironically, the rest for the past couple of weeks has probably been a little beneficial for him heading into game 2. So I would assume he'll start in game 3, but we'll see. We'll see if he's a little tired after a pretty busy night in the last game.
All part of his plan.
Yeah.
Take the last week off and get rested and ready to go.
Moving away from this series, just your thoughts on another series that we're seeing in the league.
The Valdor Drummondville one, I don't really know what's going on there. That one's kind of weird. Pretty impressed by the Eagles, to be honest. Like I didn't think they'd be in that Newfoundland series as much as they'd be in. So, full credit to them. It does seem like a couple of the other series, even though they're 2-0, like, Gatineau seemed to really push Rouyn-Noranda in game 2. I know the Armada, just following the box scores. I haven't watched any of that series, but just following the box scores, it doesn't seem like they've, been completely dominating in that series. What else do we have here? Yeah, Chicoutimi, Halifax. That one I don't think is a huge surprise, though. Good to see Halifax stay in that second game.
Yeah.
Charlottetown, Quebec. I mean, that's turning into a really interesting series, especially given some of the absences for Charlottetown heading into Game 3 on the road. So that'll be really interesting. I feel like that could potentially be a really long series at this point. Sherbrooke and Shawinigan. That series, boy, I almost feel like that series might be over quick, just because Shawinigan was really good on home ice this season. Shawinigan had one of the best home records in the league, and to lose both of them to Sherbrooke, I mean, that's a huge blow to them. So curious to see how Game 3 of that series turns out, but does seem like Sherbrooke's really locked in for the playoffs.
Yeah, big fans of them.
Yeah.
And that building in Sherbrooke, that like we've seen playoff series, the finals or the semifinals against Halifax, like that building is rocking. And to come home with a 2-0 series lead, and I just hope Val-d'Or fans can show up as well. I mean, you're up 2-0 as a huge underdog, and hopefully the fans are able to show up for that one. Now, we're hoping not to have you next week, because if we have you next week, that means we've gotten to Game 6. So no offense, but I know you're getting ready to head out. I see a ton of pucks behind you.
Yep.
Are those all the arenas that you've been to?
Those are all the pucks. There's got 3 levels here.
Good Lord.
Are they in order?
They are in order. They're in order by league, and then in order by visit.
Wow.
Yeah, this is rare. I don't do many interviews from this location.
I have like 6. And they're all like playoff and Memorial Cup, like that's unbelievable. What's and you're leaving tomorrow, right?
I am leaving tomorrow, yep. For an ECHL trip.
Can't believe you leave in the first round of the playoffs, Jamie. You get a Sea Dogs Wildcats matchup, and you're leaving.
First one since 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the 2010 series was a little different.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you again. You've been our longest reigning guest. You're the first one to go back-to-back episodes. Can't thank you for your time, and no offense, but hopefully we don't talk to you for a little bit, maybe around the draft time coming up here, eh?
Yeah, sounds good. It's been an honor. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He lives the best life. Like, I love my kids. I love Layla. But, man, he lives the best life going to all these arenas and all these events.
I don't collect anything. Like,
I'm like, I got 6 pucks, and they're all Moncton. I got a few autographed ones from, like, LaRue and Desi and Pelche and stuff like that. But, like,
yeah,
that's – and what I found out, too, is, like, the 61 arenas he's been to, and like Steve from the OHL have been to, it's not on the pass. It's got to be a paid ticket. Because I was like, oh, well, yeah, you've been to these with the media pass and stuff. And he's like, no, part of the thing is you got to go to the game. And it's got to be a paid ticket.
Jeez.
So
yeah,
one of these times we'll get there and we'll film some content in that room and just find out how much actual memorabilia he has. But that was fun. That was fun. Again, like I said, hopefully we don't talk to him next week. At this point, there's 4 potential games before we get to next week's show, but we got to go one at a time. It starts tonight. So let's recap. Let's get our recap and the weekly rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
And the weekly rewind is presented to you by Alphas Appliance Solutions. Right now, they've got the Whirlpool Saver, the savings event. Save $150 when you purchase 2. $300 when you purchase 3 or more qualifying Whirlpool kitchen major appliances. Qualifying purchases now till April 1st. For those or any other deals, call them at 858-5111 or visit them 25 Halifax Street or online at alphaapplicesolutions.ca. As we mentioned, the Wildcats take a 2-0 series lead against the Sea Dogs as the series shifts uptown to St. John for games 3 tonight and game 4 tomorrow. We go back to Friday night. Took a bit longer than it needed to be to get going. They got down 1-0, but it just felt like they just kept coming and they just kept coming. And honestly, I looked in the second period. I thought at the end of 40 minutes that the Sea Dogs had 2 shots in the second. It was 5, but it was like this is a team that they went in that first intermission And I think a lot of the non-calls maybe angered them a little bit. I don't think obviously the coaching staff's going to focus on that, but I think a few of the non-calls kind of angered this team. Like, all right, if they're not going to give us calls, we're just going to do it this way. And they came out, scored 3 in the second period, and never looked back. But it was a bit of a sleepier start.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, I went to take a leak in the first intermission, and Aiden was on the broadcast saying, it's they just got to get one. I think when they get one, the floodgates will open, and he was right.
Yeah.
They got 2 early ones from Cornforth, and they just they didn't stop there. It was just they kind of just I think they just kind of reset in that first intermission and realized that I think everyone might have been a little nervous.
Yeah.
It's a lot of these guys. It's regardless of where we finished in the standings, a lot of these guys are playing their first Q playoff games, and so there was probably a little nerves from that group. But like Gardner's that motivator that that we need, and really helped them kind of get over that hump, and came out with some juice in the second period, and just didn't stop. Just put their foot on the gas and didn't let go.
Yeah, and you kind of forget about that. Like, a lot of these players have played their first playoff game, but the guys that were here last year, this is their first playoff as a defending champion.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be a defending champion in the regular season where, yeah, the results matter, but it's not, as dire in the playoffs. And I think there was a little bit of clutching the sticks, a little bit of nerves, had to get that out. And, they're kids. They see exactly where St. John is in the standings. And I'm not saying they didn't take them as seriously, but there's a lot of nerves, and it's probably a good thing that you had a matchup like a St. John as opposed to a Halifax matchup, because, they were able to kind of have a sleepy period, get away with it, and come away with a 1-0 series lead. And you said it with Tozer. Shane played well.
Yeah, he did.
There's no goalie controversy. It's Radkoff, because the next night he played even better than Shane, but it was a situation where, he gave up 5, but kind of just they steamrolled them like 13, 17. They outshot them 20-5 for 50 shots. And I mean, they had 50 shots in game 2. If that's the goal, they're gonna tire some goalies out as these series wear down.
Yeah, we saw that the new line of Cornforth, Mutrin, and Tornis, and we saw. I think when
Were you surprised to see the change?
You know what? It's. I'm actually surprised it took this long.
Yeah.
There was nothing against. I think they just had to find do something a little different going into the playoffs, maybe to give the opposition, something they didn't expect to see, right? Yeah. It's you do all these game planning, expecting Cornforth with Dinwiddie and Mercier, and Binkley with Tornis and Mutrin, and then come game 1, you're kind of thrown off a little bit. So it could be some Gardner mind games for all we know. And but hey, that second line, they
everywhere
seems to be a good change, and we're waiting for Binkley to get that one, because as we said, once it gets one, we know it's going to come. And so I think putting him with Dinwiddie and Mercier was smart too. And so Binkley's going to score. He did it all season. Probably the most improved player. And I know it's the monkey's going to come off his back eventually. And once it does, it's it's going to be a good thing.
I think that's the thing, is you're trying to get Binkley going, and you got Nico Tornis on that line with Mutrin, and they're both shooters. So one of them is going to shoot. You get him with a Mercier or a Denway, who's a bit of a distributor, maybe gets him going. But yeah, Cornforth and Teddy, like I asked him in game 1, he's grew up playing against him. It was nice to play with him, and you could see that chemistry from the hop. You get to game 2, goalied Radkoff for 58 minutes. But they got one. There was a belief if they broke through, just like game 1, the tie was inevitable. A mammoth tying goal with Desi with the pass to Gabe. I actually thought at first glance it went off a Sea Dog skate. But again, now they had 50 shots because they had 9 in overtime. But it was just never in doubt. as we say. But man, 3 minutes left. Like I said to Tozer, when that pass was this high off the ice, a perfect sauce right to Desi, he tips it. It goes off the helmet.
Yeah.
I'm like, we might have a series here.
Yeah.
Like you're just getting goalied, and it gave St. John a belief that they're in this series. And I wonder what we're going to see tonight.
We still have a series.
Yeah.
But
a tied series.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. First of all, to all the people who left with 5 minutes left in the third period after the 50-50 number was drawn, how dare you? One being my nephew. I found out my nephew left with about 3 minutes left. So not very impressed as your favorite uncle. You should know better. Stay for the whole game next time.
Bro.
Yeah. Nah.
It's funny you asked me because I put my coat on.
I saw you get up and put your coat on with 3 minutes left. I was like, this ain't over, buddy. Come on.
And I was like, no, I'm just freezing all the time. I'm just naturally cold. We're
used to goals and the goals warming us up with the what's the
energy?
The energy, you know, there's another word I'm looking here. I'm blanking. But I saw you got your jacket on. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Don't leave. Like
no.
And then
I don't even the regular season. I'm not leaving in the playoffs.
I was there as a fan Saturday night, and I gotta say, like, it's the playoffs. It's fun to enjoy a game as a fan.
Yeah.
Just to be in the atmosphere, like just the tying goal, like my head blew off. Like I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But you believe, right? Like, and I don't think we will see something like that ever again. I can't remember the last time Moncton scored 2 goals, like being down 2 goals, and they score 2 goals in the final minute to tie a game. I
don't think it's been since I've been here. At least.
And I remember it was the game that they won years ago against Sherbrooke to end that losing streak. They had a 2-goal lead with under a minute left, and Sherbrooke scored 2 goals in the final minute, right? Like that's I can't remember a game where Moncton scored twice in the final minute to tie a game. And look, I think that it got the juices going, you know, and it's like you just look at overtime and Alex Donovan's almost on a breakaway and Wallenius is gassed and Donovan's got a full tank of gas and he just rips it off the crossbar.
And I think Wallenius got a piece of that. I think that's why.
Very possible.
I think because he was gassed, he wasn't. I think it went off his stick a little bit and hit that post. If it doesn't, it might just go over the shoulder and it's 1-1.
Yeah,
right.
There's just a game of inches, and then but you knew once they tied it, they weren't going to lose that game.
No.
The overtime, I was like, oh, geez, that game went against Quebec. It didn't. It only took a couple of minutes. Once you get past the 10-minute mark, you're like, oh, come on, just end this. I don't want to be like a 5 overtime game here. And
I said that to Tozer up in the booth. I was like, oh, we're here till. I said, Jeremy's sitting over there. This thing's going 5. Let's see how long he lasts. Right?
Geez,
like
my leg was just.
I was shocked. Like for those that know where we sit in the booth, you can look up, and depending on the score, one or both of us are standing up.
Yep.
And I was like, I looked over, and you're sitting down. I'm like,
there's no way I'm sitting down.
I'm like, why? And there was room over to the side. I was like, I sent you a message. You didn't. I was like watching to see if you'd read it. I was like, how are you not standing?
It's tough. If I would have been in the booth, I definitely would have been. I was no way I was down.
Yeah.
It was a fun environment, and I think the in-game experience is getting a little better too.
Yeah.
We're seeing less commercials, more fan interaction, more people on the cameras.
Yeah.
Prior to the overtime on Saturday night, I think they showed a guy absolutely blitzed out of his mind, just dancing and shaking his butt. And I was like, this is what you need.
Yeah, that's what
This
we're here
is what
for.
we see in 17 of the other 18 rinks in the queue. Yeah. Fans on the camera dancing, having a good time. And we're the only rink in the league that doesn't show that. And suddenly we are. And
you can
people,
see it.
It gets people going.
The beard cam and the dance cam and the
beard cam, the dance cam, the air guitar,
the flex cam. I think that's the other one.
We're seeing those things finally in Moncton that we see that on a Halifax broadcast. We see that in a St. John broadcast. We see it in Newfoundland. We see it in every rink, but we don't see it in Moncton, and that's what's been missing. And I think they're finally getting the message.
Yeah, 100%. The other switch that we saw is near the end of the game. Lansbury is playing with Mercier and Desi, and I think that was just more of a switch to kind of be more aggressive on the pucks, even though they were pretty aggressive on the pucks, controlling a lot of play, obviously. Game 3 goes tonight, and, we asked Tozer his thoughts on this, but, I mean, I think the first 7 minutes are the key to this hockey game. I think if you're Moncton, you cannot let this team have belief. I think a loss like that, you've pretty much cut the legs off them. Like they were standing tall. They were like, we're 2 minutes away from a 1-1 series lead that nobody gave us a chance in. And you took the knees right out. You took the legs right out from under them. I think this is a chance for Moncton to just kind of end it. Like just come out early and get on top of them. And like Tozer said, they have a lot of success in TD Station.
Yeah.
And
take
on
control
road, on this one. Yeah.
And the road. You know, I think
HTQ.
It's there's not going to be any home ice distractions.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the bus. They're going to be in a hotel, basically doing what they were able to do all season long on the road. It's being on the bus. It's being in hotels. It's being together as a group. And I think, again, don't want to look too far ahead, but I think you're right. The first 10 minutes of the game on game 3 is probably going to be, I think it's going to show what's kind of an outcome that we're going to get. If you let St. John hang around, we might be looking at a different story here. But I think if you can get on them early, start on time, make Radkoff move around a little more. I don't like St. John did a good job of taking away the time and space and blocking shots and
blocking everything.
I think you gotta get them moving around a little bit. You know what? Like it goes back to that tying goal, like Desi with a head fake, caused Fullerton to go down. And I think you got to do more head fakes. We have a mobile back end that can do stuff like that. And don't shoot in the shin pads. Take that extra half a second to see what if the lane is there. And if the lane is there, take your shot.
Yeah.
If it's going to go off someone's shin pads, make it move.
Yeah.
It's
make it hurt.
Yeah. Don't just if you've got time to that extra half second to make a decision with the puck, that's not going to cause it to go the other way, then take it. I think they did it in game 1.
Yeah. They
couldn't do it in game 2. So let's get back to game 1 here and get some more pucks on net.
Yeah. And I can't remember if it was Pronger or McInnes or something. He was always like, I love when guys came out and block shots early. That was the hardest I would slap a puck in their shin because in the third period, they may not want to come out here and stand in front and block a shot. It'll be interesting to see how the top 6 looks if it goes back to I don't think you're breaking up the USA Part 2 line with Cornforth, Moutron, and Nico, but I wonder where if maybe Binkley and Lounsbury maybe swap spots on that top line. But either way, it's a game where this is a chance to take control of the series, and Moncton's got to start on time.
Yep.
And that's
games at 7. Well, it's St. John, so they have about 10 minutes of intros. So 7-10, just be ready, and I think if they can get an early one, if Moncton's got a goal on the board by 20 after 7, I think we're in good shape.
And it's basically a home ice advantage too. Big bus trip going up.
Well,
so
that's
if
it.
You're going, be loud. Like
don't want to take anything away from St. John, but when I went on Ticketmaster there earlier today and I looked at their ticket sales, I'm like, sheesh, with that bus trip and all the fans that are going down in their own vehicles.
Yeah.
You could be looking at a home game here.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's amazing what a minute and a half of a different score. There's probably a few more Sea Dogs fans
yeah.
in that building because there's a belief in a tied series.
Yeah.
Right now, they're
Yeah.
like, we did everything we could, and this team's not.
Yeah. So
Right.
I think with the bus trip and everyone that's going down in their own vehicles, I think Moncton's got the opportunity to, like the fans have got the opportunity to make TD stations sound like they have an ear here and get these boys going.
All right, let's get to everyone's favorite part of the show. All right.
Eric Murray, Realtor. Buy your house from him. Stick Tap of the Week.
And I'm going to turn it over to Adam for the Stick Tap of the Week.
And the Stick Tap of the Week is brought to you by Eric Murray Realty.
I forgot to do that last week.
Yeah. This goes out to fan of the show, fan listener. It's actually a two-part, but the first part is Steve Greencorn, Green Machine on Instagram.
Okay.
He went out to the island, Vancouver, Victoria. He went to a PWHL game, Golden Eyes, I think it is, a Canucks game. He didn't get out to a WHL game, but he met me at the intermission of game one, and he brought us some gifts.
Oh,
He did, yeah.
oh, even me?
Yes.
Gifts?
Yes.
Oh, pucks. Oh.
He brought Connor Garland pucks for us. So he gave us one each, and we have one to give away. I don't know what we're going to do to give one away, but
these are Vancouver Canuck pucks, not Columbus Blue Jacket
they
pucks.
are. Yeah, they were getting away. So hopefully, as friend of the show, we can get him to autograph ours. But yeah, he came and gave us some Connor Garland pucks.
Nice.
Very nice addition. Did not think that was coming. So Stick Tap of the Week goes to Steve Greencorn of Instagram, and the other one goes to Osmos.
Oh, yes.
The shawarma place. If you haven't gone there, A, don't eat early in the day. Save up. And B, holy jeez. I got the shawarma poutine. 12 out of 10, 100% recommend. Layla got the shawarma on the rocks, which is their rice. And then
Okay.
or you can get shawarma on the sticks, which is fries. Beef, lamb, pork, and
The lamb is a bad idea.
and chicken. All the sauces. They got it's funny, they got like no sauce, mild, regular, hot, and then sweet hot. And I got Layla mild, and all it is 3 drops of the sauce. So like super hot is probably a whole douse of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's over there on
Morton Avenue.
Morton Avenue. It's by the new Mary Brown's, just by the Shoppers Drug Mart. So yeah, honorary Stick Tap goes to them because I'm still full from that meal.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
And that brings us to the Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary, Lynns Massage and Spa. Right now, they've got the teeth whitening available for booking starting at $85. That gives you 3 15-minute sessions included in that price. You can add another 15 minutes for only $20. And don't forget, they've got the loyalty card. Buy 9 spa services, get 1 free. Call them at 830-1224 or stop into the location at 153 McLeese, as they're now accepting new clients. And I am going to turn it over to Mr. Jeremy Boucher.
Yeah, we're doing a little flip-flop this week.
It's playoff season, guys. Playoffs. Anything can happen.
So the Rosemary Lynns Massage and Spa Wildcat of the Week is going to number 92, Gavin Cornforth. If you ever see Gavin around, make sure you hand him some Kinder Bueno candy treats.
Yes.
He loves those. And I do want to make a note of his overtime goal. I've never seen a knee drop that good since I proposed to my wife. So that was, and you can see his energy is really bringing the boys together. Performance in game 1 was unreal. Game winner in game 2 was, kind of brought what felt like 8,000 people.
Yeah.
At the Evan here. They send them home happy.
That's the key.
Yep.
42,000 average in the 2 games, and you get the right 4,200, and it sounds like 6 or 7, and that's the key. All right, that'll do it for us this week. Game 3 tonight. If you're going down, please drive safe. If you're on the bus, enjoy the adventure. They do have a lot of fun, and
don't be late, Ken.
Yeah, don't be late, Ken. They have a lot of success. Let's give that home ice advantage in TD station. For Jeremy, I'm Adam. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.